English for gentle minds.
A space for calm clarity and meaningful conversations.
You ever notice how people do the weirdest things in their free time? Like someone out there is probably knitting a tiny sweater for their cat on purpose.
And someone else is hanging off a cliff with their fingertips because they think that's relaxing.
Exactly. Why do we do that? Why do we spend hours doing stuff that doesn't really do anything?
Because hobbies aren't really about usefulness. They're about expression or escape or joy, or maybe just keeping your brain from melting.
Okay, so knitting and cliff climbing are both brain savers? That's your theory?
Not just mine. Actually, there's this interesting idea that hobbies are how we learn who we are without pressure. No boss, no deadline, just curiosity.
That sounds poetic. But what about people who don't have hobbies? Are they just blank slates?
Or maybe they haven't found the right puzzle piece yet.
Or maybe they're just tired and want to sleep after work.
Also valid. Welcome to Gentle Minds. I'm John.
And I'm Britney. This is the podcast where we slow down and ask strange questions that tell us something real. Like today, what makes a hobby more than just a way to kill time?
We're digging into the quiet world of pastimes. From climbing and composing music to video games and tarot cards, to the wild idea that maybe you don't need a hobby at all.
Wait, did you just say tarot cards?
Yes. Stick around.
Oh, I am so ready. But also, what about those people who say they don't have any hobbies? Is that boring or just honest?
That's part of what we're exploring. Because maybe hobbies aren't just things you do. Maybe they're how you stay connected to yourself and to the world.
Okay, that sounded like a therapy poster. But fine, I'll allow it.
Coming up, we'll talk about hobbies that people love-hate. Or do. Just to feel alive. And maybe even how to talk about them in real life without sounding weird.
I always sound weird, though. It's my gift.
True, but you own it well.
Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, let's admit something I used to say. My hobby was watching Netflix just to sound relatable. But deep down, I didn't even know if that counted.
It absolutely counts. A hobby doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to give you something back. It could be cooking, playing video games, reading fan fiction, even walking around your neighborhood for no reason.
That's my favorite kind of walk. The no destination walk. That's where all my thinking happens.
That's exactly it. These moments where you're not working or solving problems, they open space for ideas. They give your brain something soft to land on.
Okay, so if someone's listening right now and they're learning English, what hobby should they pick?
Any hobby where you hear or use English naturally, like listening to music, watching movies in English, reading comic books, or even following cooking videos.
Yes. I learned a ton of new words from baking shows like whisk and fold gently, and also catastrophe.
Good vocabulary set. And when you enjoy the thing you're doing, your brain remembers better. You're not forcing it. You're absorbing it like a sponge.
Also, you're probably repeating stuff without noticing. Like if you're into video games, you're seeing the same verbs all the time. Pick up the item, go back, try again, boom, repetition.
Exactly. Repetition builds patterns. And spoken English is full of patterns.
Okay, let's do a quick challenge. I'll name a hobby, and you tell me what kind of English someone might learn doing it.
Go for it.
Painting.
Colors. Actions like mix, blend, shade. Also phrases like work in layers or add detail. Very visual and descriptive.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh, great for storytelling. You learn adjectives, emotions, and weird medieval words like spell and dagger, and lots of polite arguing.
Working out at the gym.
You get body vocabulary: arms, legs, shoulders. Also verbs like lift, stretch, push, breathe, plus commands like keep going or take a break.
Okay, what about watching romance movies?
You hear how people flirt, argue, break up, make up, real emotions, real tone. And all the phrases we use in daily life like I miss you or I'm not ready.
Wow, hobbies are like English lessons in disguise.
Exactly. That's the point. When language shows up inside something you like, it sticks better.
So basically, we should stop feeling guilty about doing things just for fun.
Always. If fun helps you grow, it's never a waste.
I like that.
Right, let's slow it down and pull out some of the words and phrases we've already used in this episode.
Yes, this is the good stuff. This is where I actually realize what I've been saying the whole time.
Let's start with the word hobby. It's simple but really flexible. A hobby is just something you do regularly for enjoyment. No pressure, no goal. It could be painting or riding a bike or reading fantasy novels for the sixth time.
Or rewatching the same sitcom every night with snacks. That counts, right?
Absolutely. It's about what makes you feel good.
Another one I like is free time. You'll hear that all the time in English. It just means time when you're not working or studying. So people might say, "What do you do in your free time?"
Right, and notice how natural that sounds. What do you do in your free time? That's a really useful sentence. Small talk gold.
Also, we said no destination walk. That's not a dictionary phrase, but it's real. It's how people speak. You just mash words together to describe a feeling.
And it works because English lets you do that. You can say late night snack or coffee break mood and people get it.
Ooh, yeah, mood. That's one of those trendy little words now. People say, "That's a mood," to mean I feel that too.
Exactly. Now let's look at some action words. We said pick up the item. That's a phrasal verb.
Right. Phrasal verbs are so tricky. Like pick up can mean grab something, or it can mean go get someone, or even learn something.
That's why context matters. In games, pick up means to grab an object. In daily life, pick up my friend means drive them somewhere. And you can say, I picked up some Spanish while traveling. That means you learned it naturally.
That's wild. One phrase like 3 meanings.
Also, we used stick better. We're not talking about glue. We're talking about memory. When we say something sticks, we mean it stays in your brain.
That one's super common. People say, "That didn't stick," meaning they forgot it, or "That joke really stuck with me."
And here's another one: escape. We said hobbies help us escape. That's emotional. It means to leave stress behind for a while.
It's not running away. It's more like giving your brain a vacation.
Exactly. Other good words were relatable, meaning people can understand or connect with what you're saying, and blank slate, which means someone with no experience or opinion yet.
I like brain saver. That's not a real term, but it makes sense, right? It's the kind of word mashup people use in real life to be funny and clear at the same time.
That's a good thing to notice. Spoken English often skips rules and just feels its way through meaning. If it sounds right, it works.
Can we also mention weird? Because we use that word like 5 times.
Yes. Weird is one of the most common ways to describe something unusual or strange. And people use it a lot, but usually in a light way, not insulting.
Right, like, my friend knits clothes for her dog. That's weird, but it's cute, weird.
Exactly, spoken English depends on tone more than big words.
Okay, my turn, stick around. You said that earlier. That means don't go yet, right?
Yes, like stick around for more. It's an informal way to say keep listening or stay here.
That's such a cozy phrase.
It is. And those are the kinds of things you can listen for in podcast shows or even YouTube comments.
Wait, so should learners try to memorize all of this?
Not all at once. The trick is to listen for phrases in real use. Hear them, say them, use them. Then they'll start to feel natural.
That's how we all learn. One phrase at a time.
All right, now we're stepping into the grammar zone. But don't worry, we're not using fancy labels. We're just going to talk about how people actually speak.
Yes, please, no past participle words. My brain shuts down.
Fair enough. Let's start with one of the most common sentence styles we've used today, the present simple tense. It's everywhere.
Like when we said, hobbies help us escape. That's present simple, right?
Exactly, subject plus verb. Super clean, I paint. She runs, we read books. It's what we use to talk about habits, facts, or things we do regularly.
So if I say I play guitar on weekends, I'm showing it's a regular thing.
Exactly. That's how you tell someone it's part of your life, not just a one-time thing.
Okay. But we also said stuff like, I used to say watching Netflix was my hobby. What's happening there?
That's a nice one. Used to mean something that happened in the past but doesn't happen now. It's like saying, before I did this, but not anymore.
Right. I used to read more. I used to stay up late. It has that kind of distant feeling.
And we also use questions like, that counts, right? Or that's weird, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's that tag thing people do at the end of sentences.
Yes. Those are called question tags. Native speakers use them constantly. You make a statement, then add a small question at the end. It's fun, isn't it? Or you like painting, don't you?
And it's not about getting facts, it's more about connection, like asking for a little agreement.
Exactly. It softens the tone. It makes it feel friendly.
Okay, what about this one? I said, that joke stuck with me. That's not normal sentence order, right?
Great catch. That's a phrasal verb with a subject switch. The joke is, the thing stuck with me is the effect. But we flip the order.
Right, instead of saying I remembered that joke I made. The joke, the star of the sentence.
Exactly. Spoken English does that a lot. We shift focus by putting the interesting thing first. It's like storytelling.
Okay, what about fragments? I notice we don't always use full sentences.
That's normal. In speech, people break grammar rules all the time, but with rhythm. Like you said earlier. That counts, right? That's a full sentence, but then you said just fun stuff. That's a fragment, but it works.
Yeah, we don't always say the subject and verb if it's obvious.
And it keeps things casual. It feels real. Spoken English is full of that short bits, small phrases, pauses.
Also, contractions. We say, I'm, you're, they've, he's all the time.
Right, it's rare to hear I am going to the store. Most people say I'm going
Unless you're a robot.
or giving a speech. But for everyday talk, contractions are key.
Okay, so what's the grammar tip here?
Listen for structure, but don't panic if the sentence is broken. Focus on rhythm meaning. And try speaking in chunks, not single words.
Like, say, I used to go climbing instead of just climb.
Exactly. Or say that's not really my thing instead of just no.
That one is so useful. Not my thing, soft rejection. Still polite.
And a great phrase for learners to practice tone. All right, this is the fun part. This is where we help listeners live inside the language.
Yes. Let's stop thinking like a student and start thinking like a speaker.
Exactly. So here's the idea. When you learn English, don't focus on each word. Focus on the whole idea or the chunk, like a little unit that does the job.
Like we said earlier, that's not really my thing. That's not something you break down word by word. You learn it as one sound, one idea.
And that phrase is perfect for daily life. Someone invites you to do karaoke? You say, not really my thing. You're being polite. Honest, casual.
Or if someone says, hey, do you want to go hiking at 6 a.m.? You can be like, I'm good, thanks, which really means no.
That's framing. The phrase works in the situation because of tone and setting, not just meaning.
Let's try more. Take the phrase I used to, when can people use that?
That one's great for storytelling. When you're talking about your past, maybe in a job interview or on a date, you can say, I used to work in retail, or I used to read a lot of horror books.
It shows history, it shows change, and it makes the story feel.
Same thing with phrases like pick up when you're talking about new skills. You don't say, I learned cooking. You say, I picked up some cooking during lockdown.
That sounds natural. Like you didn't force it, you just absorbed it.
Right now, think about when people say, it stuck with me. That's emotional memory. It means the thing made an impression. You can use that to talk about stories, songs, advice, anything.
Like that movie really stuck with me. It says more than just, I remember it. It says it meant something.
That's exactly what learners should look for: words with feeling. Words that carry tone.
What about those little casual phrases we throw in? Like kind of, I guess,
Those are softeners. They let you sound unsure or gentle. You say, it's kind of weird. That's better than saying it's weird. It gives space.
yeah, and you can use, when you're searching for the word. It's that feeling when you try something new, you know.
And it invites the listener to agree or follow your thought.
Okay, let's flip it. What are some phrases from this episode that people could rewrite or remix to practice?
Let's see. That counts, right? Can become that still counts. Or that has to count for something.
Nice. And I don't have any hobbies can be I haven't found one that sticks yet.
Love that I used to do that a lot can turn into I kind of fell out of it. Or I haven't done that in a while.
Yes. These rewrites are gold.
Because it gives learners options. Flexibility. That's how you stop sounding like a textbook.
So what's the mental habit people need?
Chunk thinking, think in small blocks. Learn phrases, not words.
And notice how people use them in real life. Copy tone, copy rhythm. Don't just memorize.
Exactly, and try talking to yourself. Narrate your day. Say things like, I'm heading out. I'm kind of tired. This isn't working.
You become your own teacher. Your brain starts connecting the dots.
And the more you use English inside things you love. Hobbies shows podcasts. The more natural it feels.
That's what hobbies do. They sneak in learning without the pressure.
Which might just be the best kind of learning there is.